Happy to be spending the last 10 seasons with my guy, Kevin Wong. Jimmy Bender's on the way, and I'm Felipe Ojastro. Here we are. We know we're going to get between Iolani and Kamehameha. They've met in 3 of the last 6 state finals. And what a matchup we have here to kick off and continue week 2.
Yeah, this is a big-time rivalry, and every one of these matches is so important. So exciting to see one so early in the season. A lot of ramifications behind these matches.
For sure, especially with the new integrated schedule within the ILH. We saw Iolani on Tuesday night, gave a heck of an effort, but fell in 4 sets to Punahou. For more on this matchup, first on the floor is Jimmy Bender.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. And you had mentioned the state championships. Well, between these two teams, they've won the last 7 of them. And I talked to Kainoa Obri about the rivalry between these two teams. He said he really owes it all to Chris Blake and kind of how he's elevated the game, and everybody else has kind of had to follow them. You know, iron sharpens iron type of thing. But he said he loves playing in these matches.
And in the head-to-head series, Iolani's won the last 3 meetings, but currently the Raiders sit in the number 3 spot, still with a boatload of games to go. Punahou remains undefeated at the top of the standings at 4-0, and one of those wins, including a 5-set victory over Kamehameha Kapalama last week. But the Division II teams are in this mix as well. What do you think about how we've gotten here so far through the first 4 games or so?
Yeah, I mean, those standings so deceptive. This season's so different, right? It's just all about how tough your schedule is early on. For Kamehameha, they got the buzzsaw pretty early on, right? So they're in the heart of maybe the middle of their important season.
Yeah, and in the future here for Kamehameha, they're going to play a string of about 3 games in 4 days after their Durango trip. More on that in a second. Meanwhile, Iolani's in the middle of their season. This is game number 3, but in game number 2, fell in 4 sets to the Buff and Blue. 20, 21, 17, and 19. Those are the scores they put up. Only one player in double figures there was Callie Piper. Lulu Uluavi, double-double. Boy, Honda Deere's impact player, deservingly so. 25 kills and 15 digs. But with the graduating Santa Roberts, Navarro, and Tessa Onaga, and many more talents from last year here for the Raiders, somebody had to step up. And it's been the junior Callie Piper's done a solid job so far.
Yeah, moving position and doing some amazing things on the outside. But you talked about it. How do they find some balance offensively? How do they go and get a little bit more middle offense? Are they going to go 5-1 or 6-2? There's a lot of question marks here for Iolani this season.
Callie Piper had 20 kills, career high in that department in her time for the junior that's already won 3 state championships in her high school career, basketball and volleyball. But what kind of challenge do you think they're going to face tonight here against this Kamehameha team?
I think Kamehameha may have the most talent in the state. I think they have to figure out, Kamehameha, which player sits in which seat, right? Which is so important. So for Iolani, I think we've also seen a shakeup. They're a little bit more about like what offensive system, what defense they're running. But for Kamehameha, they know the system. It's just about figuring out which person in which position across the board.
The architect of Iolani's system has been the guy that's been the head coach's office for the last dozen seasons, and that's Kainoa Obri, who already took this team to 3 HHSAA championships, really in the last 7 years. He said progress on Tuesday would look like if his girls would swing confidently. They did just that, but they got into stretches where they were in bad rotations, and Punahou had a good run of points. They can't allow that kind of run here against a very good Kamehameha squad that's hungry to get back to the state tournament after missing it for the first time in 20 years here, Kev.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, for Iolani, they don't have the leadership. They don't have the depth of talent they have had in past years, so it's going to be a little bit more about smoke and mirrors this year, right? It's not going to be the same game plan. They're also going to have to really serve tough throughout the match.
And we talked about her already here for Iolani, but one player for the Raiders that's been giving opponents the smoke has been Callie Piper. But that transition from middle to outside, it's always hit or miss sometimes. And when you have a player as good as Callie Piper, she made it look flawless.
You're absolutely right. Biggest X factor for me coming into the season across the state, and she has nailed it, right? She's doing the passing work. She's taking big swings on the outside. In system when the pass is good. Out of system off of dig. I've been so impressed by Piper this year.
Will the middle attack also show up here for Iolani with the likes of Tiana Barrett and Avery Pereira? They were phenomenal through the first 2 sets against the Buff and Blue, tapered off towards the end. Will it all come together here tonight for a big road win? This is matchup number 1 of 2 in the regular season between 2 perennial powers in the ILH title race. Iolani and Kamehameha counting down to first serve.
Welcome back to Game Day Hawaii, presented by Pizza Hut.
School ended around 2:30 here on the hill, and those guys have been waiting outside the gym in anticipation for this one. Thanks for dropping in, guys, as we get set for the Warriors and the Raiders. Let's give you the 2022 season recap here for Kamehameha Kapalama. 6-7 overall. Game under 500. They were third in the ILH Division 1 of those teams. Remember, they missed a state tournament for the first time in 20 years. And in that season series against Iolani, Iolani dropped their first match of the year to Puno, then won 14 matches straight en route to the state title, including 3 victories over the Warriors. But they do have good talent returning, including Kalei Watson, and maybe the player of the year this year, Adriana Arquette, certainly in the conversation. But whenever you have a Kamehameha squad entering a volleyball season, there's big anticipation and expectation. Didn't end up the way they wanted to last year, but as you mentioned, with all the talent they have, they could get back to the state tournament this year.
Hey, this is a top 10 program in the country, right? Think about that. You look at the alumni, you look at what they've done in mainland tournaments, so there's high expectations. And last year they had a historically bad year, but what you didn't see was them get hysterical, right? And you got Chris Blake, great leadership. I'm excited about this Kamehameha team this season.
Sweeps over Hawaii Baptist and University Laboratory to start this season, but then fell in a 5-setter to Punahou. We talk about the dominance in the ILH. Let's give you the Warrior finishes in the state tournaments going back to 2016. They're always in the conversation, as Jimmy mentioned. These two teams combined for the last 7 state championships. Champions in 21 and 19 and 17. Chris Blake has won 11 of these state championships. The level of expectation is high, but they play a very difficult preseason and also in-season tournaments. They go to Durango next week. How much does that help a program like Kamehameha playing those types of matches? How much does that prepare them for the rest of the regular season in the ILH?
I think the preseason tournaments are tough in some ways, super physically tough, right? Because you play 3 matches a day. Matches like this on TV tonight, they're very tough in a different way, right? It's mentally tough. How do you show up for that one match without the jitters? It's very different.
Tuesday night, they had a benefit for our friends over in Maui. They played an exhibition match against Moanalua. It was tied at 2. They opted not to play a 5th set per those rules. But Chris Blake saying, every time somebody comes into this gym, we get their best game. And tonight should be no different because Iolani and Kamehameha have produced some of the best matches in recent history in the league and in the state.
Yeah, these coaches, they'll smile on camera. They know when the red light's on, but they go back and they're studying film and they're working hard because these are 2 of the more competitive guys in the States, right? And Chris Blake, right? He's maybe had his toughest year last year, right?
Sure.
And how does he rebound? How does he respond? I'm really excited to see that.
The winningest coach in the history of Hawaii high school girls volleyball in terms of championships, those 11 state championships. But Jimmy, in addition to talent, this team has some size.
Got a little bit of height. I mean, they don't have Devin Kahahavai height or Maui Robbins height, but they've got 3 girls over 6 feet. They got a couple of 5'11s in here, but more importantly, Chris Blake says these girls have the height and they have physicality and they have mobility. And those are the things he's hoping to ride through the whole season, that they can do all 3 components: height, physicality, and mobility, guys.
And you're exactly right there, Jimmy. And including all of that here, Kevin Wong, they got some Division I talent, including Adriana Arquette.
Arquette may be the most intriguing player, it's definitely in the state, maybe in the country. She could play every position on the court, right? How many people can you say that about any? We've seen her play middle. She's going to go set at University of Hawaii next year. She could be a libero. She could be an outside hitter. There's no more positions, Felipe.
Versatility is valuable for a program that has 20 players on the roster. Half of them are seniors. Can those seniors drive them to the championship? Got to take care of tonight, though. They currently sit in the number 2 spot in the ILH Division 1, trying to keep pace with Puno, undefeated at 4-0. Getting closer to first serve. Game Day Hawaii delivered by Pizza Hut.
Welcome back to Game Day Hawaii, presented by Pizza Hut.
When you step on campus at Kamehameha Kapalama, you get the feeling of culture and you get the feeling of family. And there's been a lot of family members in anticipation for this matchup between Iolani and Kamehameha. Let's go around the net. These are the matches going on here tonight. The OI began their schedule yesterday as Kapolei picked up a win over Waipahu. Mililani picked up a win over Wailua. Those 2 could be the front runners in the OIA West Division. We'll see some of these teams over the course of the year. Kamehameha got a pretty good squad, by the way. They'll take on Roseville, Castle, Farrington, Kalani, and Kailua. We're getting into the thick of this race for the championships, and this is going to be a heck of a matchup again. We're going to see it between Iolani and Kamehameha.
Yeah, big energy. I think who can get started quickly, who can serve tough might be a key. Going to be a fun one here tonight.
Going to be awesome, and we are moments away from first serve here as we continue week 2 of the girls volleyball season. From Kekuhapio Gymnasium, Raiders Warriors coming up next on OC 16. Against Punahou, the Raiders have a chance to rebound and a trek to the top of the hills in their future for the most successful program in volleyball history awaits. Another great chapter in this phenomenal rivalry. Raiders and Warriors on OC 16. With the state final in about 8 weeks, we are on the road to the state championship, and we take a pit stop atop the hill here at Kekuhapio Gym. We welcome you to the ILH on Spectrum OC 16, set for a fun one between 1-1 Iolani and the 2-1 Warriors of Kamehameha, Kapalama. Everyone looking upstairs at Punahou, 4-0. Defeated the Raiders 48 hours ago. They're in the driver's seat right now. The regular season champion will secure one of the 2 berths representing the league heading into the state tournament, which begins in about 2 months. With that, we say good evening. Great to have you with us. Felipe Hostra, my guy Kevin Wong, Jimmy Bender's coming up in a second. These teams have met in 3 of the last 6 state finals. Chris Blake, the head coach for Kamehameha, is always saying, anytime someone comes in our gym, they play their best ball. We're expecting a fun one here tonight again.
Yeah, Chris talked a lot in my conversation with him about swagger, about confidence, about demeanor and posture. I'm really interested to see which team has that a little bit more, right? They're both young teams. They're both coming off of maybe not their best years, and they have new people coming in early in the season. Who's got the swag factor?
In the meantime, here for the Raiders, they're trying to bounce back after losing on Tuesday night to Punahou. Kind of in a transitional year, if you will. They lost to Santa Roberts Navarro over at Seton Hall now. They lost Tessa Onaga. There's a lot of good pieces that are still remaining here for Kainoa Obrey, so we'll see if it all come together on the road for a big road win. One guy that always has perfect posture is a third member of our team, Jimmy Bender, the new Sidini
Well, now I feel like I need to really stand tall. Comments from the coaches, by the way, about tonight, talking to Iolani's Kainoa Obrey, about their game the other night on TV and what they learned from that. He said the main thing was consistency. He said we had some spurts there that were really good, but we just couldn't string things together. And by the way, somebody else learned something from that game. Kamehameha's Chris Blake stayed up till...
Yeah, well, we're working on technical difficulties with Jimmy's mic in a second, but he talked about consistency. He's going to need to find it here tonight, particularly from some of their leaders as they get set for a big matchup between a perennial power and the race for the state championship. What else could you want here on Thursday night? It's Iolani, it's Kamehameha. We're on the hill. It's going to be a fun one here. First serve coming up on OC 16.
This Spectrum OC 16 sports presentation is sponsored by...
In every one of those state finals, they were classics. But as we mentioned last year, en route to the ILH championship and the state championship for the Raiders, they won all 3 of the meetings against the Warriors, swept them in the season series. The last time Kamehameha knocked off the Raiders, it was the HHSA championship match in 2021 of November. Pretty good crowd here inside Kekuhapio Gymnasium as the ladies line up on the floor. We swing in the zippy starting lineups first for the road team and the 1-1 Raiders of Iolani. Same starting lineup that we saw on Tuesday against the Buff and Blue with Hano and Pereira and Kelly Piper, the 3 hitters. Tiana Barrett was a boomer, really, in the middle when they set it to her. Bailey Nakanilua, the setter. Maddox Taniguchi is the libero. And Georgie Lee will make an appearance here tonight. Georgie Lee, who was out on Tuesday with an illness, all good to go here tonight against Kamehameha. The freshman will try and help the Raiders take on these phenomenal young women. The zippy starting lineups for Kamehameha Kapalama with Goldstein and Chalk. Tia Kapihe, the middle spot, and Alohalani Chun. Adrian Arquette and Emma Lilo, the setter. Joins Ashley Lum, the libero. here for Chris Blake's crew, 21st season as the head coach of this great program here on the Hill. To our officials here tonight, pretty good crew. Mark Nakashima joins Ryan Sakagawa. And so these teams know what's at stake. This is the first of 2 regular season meetings that they'll have here in 2023. Jimmy earlier had talked about just trying to find consistency here for the Raiders that they did not have on Tuesday against the Buff and Blue. For more on that, Jimmy?
Yeah, I also wanted to mention about Kamehameha because Chris Blake watched that game. He stayed up till 2 in the morning to kind of scout that one as well. And what he learned is that Iolani loves to go to Callie Piper. That's why she's our player to watch. He said we'll need to watch her as well. So just get on Callie, block it. That's what they got to do, guys.
And you're right, Jimmy. In fact, Chris Blake was thanking our bosses at OC16 for repeating that game over and over and over again so he can get the film down and ready for this one.
I'll tell you, though, the video he saw is not going to look like the team we see here tonight. You bring Georgianne Lee back in the middle. It moves Hano out to the right side. They could go 5-1, 6-2. There's just so much optionality. To me, this Iolani team feels like a Rubik's Cube that's like still in process.
Right. And we mentioned all those players. Erin Hiraki had a phenomenal game on Tuesday as well. And when she's a lefty on that right side, watch out because Puno had a tough time trying to contain.
And earlier in the year, she was a libero, right? So spinning the dial, I'm telling you, you probably were really good at Rubik's Cubes. I was terrible. So I can't figure out what's going on right now.
I was not great. I was really good with Simon. I remember Simon, that board game.
Hungry Hippo.
Yeah, that's pretty good too. Someone's hungry for an Impact Player Plaque. We'll give it out tonight. It's brought to you by Mike's Engraving and Trophies, the official trophy provider for Spectrum OC16 Sports. For all your special achievements, hit up our guy Ryan at Mike's Engraving and Trophies. They are located in Aiea. Kamehameha, 2-1 on this season. Wins over Hawaii Baptist Academy and University Laboratory. It was a 5-set thriller against Punahou 6 nights ago. And for the Warriors and for Chris Blake, so we just couldn't find that extra bit of energy down the stretch. They were close. Then a 2-point separation late in set 5 for the Buff and Blue kind of did Kamehameha in. And he's anticipating a really, really good effort here tonight from Iolani.
I think the serving is going to be really key here for Iolani because this Kamehameha team, when they get the middle going, it's unstoppable, right? It's unstoppable. Run it so quickly, they move it to different positions. So how can they challenge these great passers from Kamehameha, but they're a little bit young too, right? So you can get them in some pressure situations that they haven't been before in a Kamehameha jersey, in a big TV match.
Last year was such a senior-heavy year for really everyone in the ILH and all that talent across the board, all those schools in Division 1, Iolani, Kamehameha, Punahou. So this year, everyone was trying to figure out, get an idea what they would have, but would it all work together? Iolani, of course, playing the Ankang tournament. Kamehameha, 48 hours ago, had an exhibition against Moanalua, was put to the test. What kind of test will they have against Iolani this evening? Avi Pereira gets us going in the best of 5 from Kekuhapio Gymnasium. The first swing will go to Arquette, but it just went over her head in the first point here for the Raiders.
Wow, I'm trying to think of the last time I saw that. Some of those pre-game energy, right? Some jitters.
Lila will get another chance, but off the overpass, Georgia Lee got a touch on it. Then the libero Ashley Lum there. Then from the back row to swinging Goldstein. At the net, this one tipped over by Nakanelua. Off the dive, here comes Kapihe. Got it.
So early on, it looks like Iolani going with the 5-1, having Nakanelua be the setter. Earlier in the play, you can take a look at that nice high hit. Iolani team not quite as big as they were blocking last year. You think about some of the players they had, right? Roberts Navarro, an amazing blocker.
Everyone just coming together for Iolani last season. Those 14 straight wins that season. That loss to Punahou snapped a 15-match win streak, the longest win streak that the program's had in 8 years at that time. Won 15 in a row, then fell to Punahou Tuesday night. Here is Chalk. Chalk got it across. Nakanelua will set it. Pass Lee and into the double block of Arquette. Piper gets a refeed. Into that block.
And volleyball is all about the matchups, right? And you watch video at 5 in the morning, like Chris Blake, you're going to put your 2 biggest blockers against the biggest threat on the other side, right? So you got Kapihe on the right side, you got Arquette in the middle. That's a tough matchup for Callie Piper, especially when they know it's going out to her.
Piper coming off those 20 kills on Tuesday night against the Buff and Blue. Chalk a floater, got it over right to Hano. Back to Piper. There you go. Iolani, every other set in the match against Punahou, they had a slow start, then a great start, slow start, great start, starting quick. Very important here for the Raiders. They pull within 1. Georgie Lee was phenomenal in the preseason matches to prepare herself for the regular season. And Lee swats it across. The freshman gets it over. The set from Lilo. A quick attack there for Arquette that finds the back row.
I mean, what do you do, right? That perfect pass, and she's got the range, she's got the vision. Runs a perfect route. It's crazy how great a middle block she's ended up being.
Here's Kapihe. 3 years of varsity experience for that young woman. Gets it over right to Taniguchi. Feed it to Hano in the back row. That one fished in by Chalk. Lilo outside. Big swing there from Goldstein. That one picked up by Pereira. It's a runner here for Piper. Lito to Arquette. Went line, went out. Wide right.
And you see the Rubik's Cube on the Kamehameha side, right? Earlier they got Arquette in the middle, then they spin the dial a little bit, put her on the right side. Later on, we'll see her hitting out of the back row.
And the thing about Rubik's Cubes, once you get like 7 of the 9 of the same color, the more you twist it around, sometimes you get into more trouble as well. I've been burned by many a Rubik's Cube.
I knew you had some sort of theory.
Sean puts it down.
You know what we used to do? We'd cheat. We'd like take the stickers off and then just move them around and put them on the other side. Yeah. A little slower.
Much easier.
Yeah. That's my level. That's the level I'm at.
Got up in the back row. Nakanelua flicks it up. Piper, hard angle. Wow. Got a couple of those shots on Tuesday. That one bends down for the point.
Such a workhorse, too, right? You talked about all the offense coming from her, taking swings all over the court.
The second team selection, ILH All-Star from a year ago, puts it back in play. Another short serve. That one dug up there by Goldstein. A big blast there from Arquette. Lilo back outside. Goldstein hits that one out.
2 outside hitters for Kamehameha, right? They are studs. But they're going to have a little learning curve at the beginning of the year, right? You talk about Goldstein, talk about Chalk. They didn't get much run at all last year. Chalk had transferred, so she wasn't available to play.
Swatted that across. Lilo works it middle. This one goes out by Chun. They wanted a touch, and they got a touch. Aloha Chun able to knock that one home, and Kamehameha back out in front.
And these are the rotations now, right? You got Piper in the back row. This is the time where we saw on Tuesday's match, Punahou was able to go on little runs.
Right. Nakanelua in the middle. Block went up. Ball went down. Chun was there.
Right, and when you think about this, I guess some of the video they saw on the Tuesday match, right? A lot of offense coming from the middle. This one's got to go out to Pereira, though.
Pereira on that left side here for the Raiders. She gets the first on the pass. And now they go from the back row to Piper. That one fished in, and Lilo dumps it down.
Like that set to Piper. That was a good swing. Goldstein with the amazing dig. Also put a lot of pressure on from the service line as well. Take a look at that. Nice finish from Lilo.
Eight 8-5 advantage home team. Goldstein able to put it across. Hano with a bomb.
Both these teams running 5-1s. This one, Nakanelua in the back row, so there's 3 options on the other side. Lilo in the front row now, but Arquette has been a pretty serviceable weapon out of the back row.
There's Taniguchi with 2 available liberos here for Kanoa Obrey's crew. Off a chase down, someone has to put it over. It was Chun on a scramble. Hano off the block. That one kept alive by Nakanelua. Then Piper off a bump. Hano will swing from the 3-meter line. There's Arquette. Lilo outside it goes. It's out there by Chuck.
Another touch. Good job of hitting the high hands. Sky's the limit potential. Kind of reminds me of a Kele Akana type player.
Yeah. Of course, their legacy is well established during their time here at Kamehameha. Here's the libero, Ashley Lum. One of 5 sophomores on the team to the other libero, Taniguchi. There is Pereira off the table. Net called Kamehameha. It'll go against Kapihe. Pretty close here so far to the first 16 points.
Yeah, and Iolani doing a good job of getting through the rotations with Piper in the back row.
There's Hano. Floating ball pulled down there by Chalk. Out the net was Georgie Lee. But if I ever learned anything from Kevin Wong, it's not the first person that touches it. It's the second person. And right in the middle was Kapihe.
This was a crazy play. There's like 3 players who touched the ball within 0.2 seconds. Might have been 4 players.
Yeah. It was Kapihe to end up getting the kill. Pass near the net. Nakanelua says, look what I found. Dumped it down.
You know, we talk about different ways you see nerves. Hitting out of bounds long, that's one. We haven't seen that too much today, but what we have seen is passing over the net, tight to the net, right? It's just those tight shoulders that aren't flexing. They're not giving. There's no shock absorption.
Pereira. Popped up there by Chalk. Arquette back to Chalk on a bump set. Oh, right on cue. So it goes out.
Punahou, towards the end of the match, really started locking in their service pressure on Chalk, and get the feeling a lot of teams will be attacking her throughout the year. And Piper, the same on the other side, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times you're going after those big weapons.
This goes into that. They're anticipating it to go to Chalk. Hit the fence. 11-9.
So in some rotations, they can hide Piper, right? This rotation, she can press up. She's not in the service receive rotation. Can really focus in on hitting.
See who's Chalk's target. Ends up being short to Lee. Nakanelua. Piper. Got it.
That's a big swing against a block that is purely focused on her. Right? You get 4 hands across. Oh, good hard angle there.
They pull within 1.
So they're mini games, right? When Piper's in the back row, they're just trying to tread water. When she gets to the front row, now they got to score a couple of points and get a little bit of an advantage.
Oh, Lee, pretty good serve. Lilo got it outside for a swinging Kapihe that goes out. These are the stretches that Chris Blake talked in pregame. After controlling majority of this first set, not full control, but now a 4-1 run has squared the set at 11. Lee, wow, snapped it over. And that one tapped down.
Wow. Ooh, other left, right?
Hanging and tapping.
You know, she's got such a poker face, though. You can't tell if she's made the best play of her life or... I mean, I would be running around just like waving my arms in the air. And that's the face, right? Been there, done that.
She'll be having fun in Manoa. The University of Hawaii commit overpass again. Put down by Goldstein. And Kamehameha is first to 13. Pretty fun first 24 points in the match. Then the home team up 2, set 1. Hey, don't forget you can take all the great OC16 action with you on the go with the Spectrum News app. All the latest local sports, news, and weather that matter most to you download it now. It's on the App Store and Google Play. News app, big hit with the kids. All download that app right now, watching us on the News app and OC16.tv. 13-11, Warriors on top. One hit over by Kapie. A set one continues. Nakanelua up on a back set. Going right to Tiana Barrett. That one dug up. Arquette softly puts it in the front row. In front of the diving Taniguchi.
The senior play, right? And you think about all the seniors that graduated from Iolani last year. Tessa Naga, Senna Roberts Navarro. Kamehameha's got that edge this year.
Yeah.
Punahou also, I would put in that category, right? So many seniors at that program.
That one goes down. Ace there.
On the other side for Iolani, got a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this team, right? Like this is a young squad, including Libero Maddox Taniguchi.
Among the talents that we saw on Tuesday night, Indigo Clark, phenomenal on Tuesday for the Buff and Blue. Overpass, joust there, nearly tapped down by Nakanelua, swatted across and down for the point.
You know, that's a great story about Indigo Clark. She never played varsity volleyball, just focusing on beach volleyball. She's heading off to Stanford. So sometimes they opt in like that. You have a story about maybe someone at Kahuku opting out?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's going to be interesting if Kahuku doesn't have Chalet Reed, which we're told opting not to play this year. So, and we have Moalua Kahuku later on in our television schedule at the end of the month.
When are we going to find out for sure? Is that you think it's done, or what? Give me some info here.
We'll find out when we get there, September 26th. That's our next game. I won't be there, but you'll be with with Jimmy. Good string of points here for the Warriors. Puts them on top by 6. The OIA just got real interesting, by the way. 17-11 here in the ILH.
Trust fall.
How about Raider Nation in the house? And Melisaki there. Nelatalia Uli out there. Makai Monaco in that group as well. Makai Monaco with his hand on his chin right there. A cheerleading state champion from last year. Melisaki, I just wish she showed more personality. That's the only thing. She's just so introverted. That
say the same thing about you all the time.
Yeah, that wonderful basketball player for the Raiders. Nakanelua right there to Barrett. Diving in the back row. Lilo in the middle. Denied at the net there by Barrett. And they're going to roll it into the net for contact. So after the 6-0 Warrior run,
good call.
Here's Nakanelua. Goes right to Lum. Kind of rabbit punched over there by Chun. Outside, Piper with a big blast. Kept alive by Taniguchi. Nakanelua back to Piper with the left hand. Almost finger rolled it over, but Arquette got the first touch. It's two-handed across here by Chuck. Diving Taniguchi. Nakanelua in the middle for Barrett. That one sniffed out and dug up by Lilo. And a swing there for Kapie. Don't make it Arquette. Outside, there's Hano. Got it off there. Punched up by Lum. Lying in the back row was Chalk. Here's Piper. Out.
Wow, you get the feeling, right? Like everything's just so stacked towards Piper's way.
It's a full
biggest blockers. Yeah, there's a spy and there's a stack and
overloading that right side defensively for the Warriors. Lays it across to Taniguchi. Hano takes a swing and gets it down.
Hano all of a sudden becomes very important for her offense, right? How can she balance it out? How can they get the middles involved?
They're able to put that one down here for Hano. In the middle, a swipe there for Chun. Diving after that one was Nakanelua initially, then hit over by Pereira. Lilo tight at the net, just rattled one off the block, and it went out. With this integrated schedule, Kamehameha after tonight will have 3 road games against Les Jardins, Mid-Pacific, and Sacred Hearts. And for Chris Blake, he says we'll get a chance to really figure out what we have and polish up some things before we have the second round matchups against Punahou and Iolani. Chased down by Nakanelua. And Pereira nearly jammed that one home, but Chun was there. Wow. Oh, Arquette.
It's got a different trajectory, but equally effective. Devin Kamehameha out of the back row, right? Like this is just lights out with maybe a two-step approach.
Just whipped it and found the floor.
If you think about the history of Hawaii high school volleyball, on the girls' side, there's a short list of people who hit D-balls. I think it's Devin, and now I think it's Adriana, right? And you're going to get Indigo Clark a little bit out of Punahou as well. They really incorporate that quite a bit in the offense.
Yeah, and Clark entered double figures in that game against Iolani. For Kamehameha, this is one of 6 volleyball programs that the school has here. When they had JV and varsity tryouts, 90 players came out. The same amount came for the intermediate teams. 180 total players came out. Kamehameha, in addition to their rich cultural history and the great academics they have on campus, they have given a lot of their young men and women an opportunity to play sports. Rob Hessia, former wrestling coach, assisting in the administrative side of the athletics. There are 149 different sports programs here on this campus. So there's a boatload of talent and opportunities here for these young men and women to enrich themselves athletically and culturally.
I'll tell you, I had one player play for me. Jan Canijo could never make the Kamehameha varsity team, and yet she earned a D1 scholarship to San Jose State, right? Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that, right? But you get stuck behind a couple of KO sisters. You get stuck behind, Brianne Soares. There's a lot of depth chart here.
And that's a great point that you make, because in the situation as relates to Adriana Arquette, remember, she kind of came during a time where there was Maui Robbins and Devin Kamehameha. Yeah, she still was talented, but that spotlight wasn't as bright as it is now. And right now, she is deservingly getting her flowers, if you will. Right now, they're 5 away from taking a 1-0 lead in the match. Here's Goldstein. Off of Taniguchi. Chased down by Nakanelua. Piper, back row swing, and what a swing. That's something they didn't have on Tuesday. They have it here on Thursday.
Yeah, and as you see, at this point in the set, you're still hoping that your team can get on a roll and stuff, but you're also thinking to yourself, what are the adjustments I might make for the second set, right? And one of the things that Obre might be thinking about is like, hey, do I get Nakane Lua maybe back in the offense and run a 6-2? A lot of decisions.
Raiders hitting 280 in this first set. Kamehameha hitting a solid 346. And that percentage grows as Chun crushes one.
Oha Chun is twitchy. She is so fast off the ground. Got a whippy arm. Love that push. When you're approaching in the middle from the right side, you just got that momentum that takes you away from the block to the left. Really nice play.
Bum floats one across. There's a chase down for Nakanelua. And a swing for Pereira into that block. Oh, man, what a save there. Lee was in the area with Pereira. Chalk nearly got it down, but what a save from Hano. Lee right to Arquette. Lilo back to the middle. Back row blast there for Goldstein. Near the net, Nakanelua. Hano over the double block. Chased down there by Ashley Lum. They set it to Arquette from the right side down the line. There's Taniguchi. Then Nakanelua, Taniguchi free balls it across. A chance here for the Warriors, up 7 in set 1. Stashed away by Kapihe.
Iolani playing some great defense. Let's take from Taniguchi. But Kapihe showing you some versatility as well. Hitting some middle, hits some left, right. Pretty good passer too.
Arguably the best rally of the night so far. One puts it over to Taniguchi. Lee. Yes.
Georgie Lee is steady. I'll tell you, I can't wait to see her progression over the next couple of years. Just a freshman, 3 more years ahead of her. I think she's going to be an outside hitter at the highest level sooner than later.
A 6-foot freshman here for this Raider team. Oh, look out, lineswoman. Tia Kapihe in that deep corner area.
So
23-15. Floating ball, there is Taniguchi. Softly put up there by Kanelua. Nice save. Lilo, middle, Kapihe. And Arquette put that one down. Arquette flies in.
And this is an audible, right? Typically she'd come on a 1 in transition. She sees the seam in the block, calls that 3 ball. Ooh, right in the seam. Same expression.
Hit up there by Piper. Just got it through. Piper 6 kills already, coming off that 20-kill performance against the Buff and Blue. Both teams hitting over 300 right now. And it's set point again here for the Warriors. Pereira, Lum, Lilo, Kapihe. Set ender. Took 28 minutes to dispatch of Iolani in set number 1. And the team with so much talent and fire this year in 2023 with Iva Arquette in the house. Watch our little sister. Well, the blocking here for Kamehameha knew they had to shut down as best as they could Callie Piper. Piper got her kills. She got a half dozen of them, but when this block goes up, it's tough to get around here, Kev.
Yeah, and there's easy kills, and then there's really tough earned kills, and so went to the outside early on, even when they went to the middle, they may have blocking. And that's not something you really would say that historically has been one of their biggest strengths, but this is a special team. They got some big size up across the net.
To the Jack-in-the-Box set 1 stats. Wow, you're right.
You tell Aubrey before the match, hey, you're going to hit 300. You think he's got a fighting chance, right? But you have 16 to 25. I'm going to tell you that the biggest number we're going to look at throughout the night is going to be the bottom line. In that set, Kamehameha had 2 aces, Iolani 0. In order for Iolani to win this match, each set they've got to have, I'm saying 3 or 4 more aces than Kamehameha each set.
Yeah, for real. And I'll tell you what, if they don't win that battle, it could be a long night here for Iolani. But there's positivity surrounding this team, and Chris Blake saying, we always remind our players that they play for the ones that came before them, they play for the ones that are with us, and they play for the future generations that are going to come into the program. And so he's built that strong connection and hoping to build even deeper roots and connections with some of the alum, hoping to invite them on campus and have these young women meet the ones that came before them to really continue that great legacy of success here. Piper sends this one out.
And there's that same matchup again, right? You got 3 of the biggest, strongest, most talented athletes all converging in one spot. An interesting little substitution here for libero switching in. Hope Kakal.
Saw Hope Kakal as a passing specialist on Tuesday. Outside, there goes Piper. That one dug up. Here comes a net violation after the swing from Chalk.
About halfway through this season, maybe even sooner, Chalk and Goldstein are going to turn a corner, and this team is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, so often we use that word confidence, and you tend to find it along the course of a difficult season. Typically you find in the biggest games when you're pressed up against the wall and pressed up against the net with Nakanelua to reverse that home. So smart.
Maybe the biggest name to break through on the transfer portal this past HHSAA season. That's not a thing, right? There's no portal.
No. You just transferred. In the middle, that is out by Kapihe.
And talking to Chris Blake before the match, it's finishing. It's keeping the edge going, the killer instinct, right? They just smashed Iolani in the first set. If you're Chris Blake, you want to smash them even more in the second set, right? See if they can deliver on that.
Good serve, got it down for the ace. Georgie Lee.
Yeah, all the skills. She's one of the better beach volleyball players in the state at 9th grade. Brother Tripp will be playing for the Iolani team at some point in time as well.
And everyone at Iolani campus has been talking about Georgia Lee. Hey, you got to watch out for this freshman. Like, she's going to be the future of our program. And then there's some on campus who's like, the future, what about now? I mean, she's been great as a ninth grader. Lee hits it over right to Ashley Lum. Arquette off of Lee and into the net.
You know, here's the problem though, right? For Iolani, as much as but there was a big question mark early in the season, right? Because Hano had got the injury. But once they figured out the setter situation, they have so many senior leaders around. We talked about Senna Roberts Navarro, Brooke Nani Seni, another one, Mary Lawton, another one.
And then Maya Imoto Ikin. I mean, that was a very special class en route to that state title. This is out by Hano.
And they were just so consistent, right? They didn't hit balls out. They didn't serve balls out. They didn't beat themselves. They made you come out and beat them.
It was a very Iolani way to win the title, if you will. All sports, right? Discipline, precision, strategy. And over there by Chalk, it goes out. The 4-4 set to score. Iolani hitting .235 for the match. We're hitting minus 250 here in this second set. Oh, Arquette.
That's the route, right? We talk about football routes a lot, but in volleyball routes, this one is deadly. Coming from behind the setter. When they jump, they're even with the setter, but then they jump right past the middle blocker. Whew.
In the middle, there was Barrett into that double block. Piper, that one fished in by Chalk. Flirted with a beam. And there's Arquette. And another, she's got 9 kills, hitting .615 for the match.
Great footwork, right? That ball was inside, it was a little bit low. She got her feet to the ball.
Wow. Kopihe hit the antenna.
Remember back in the day when I used to have the flowing locks like that. It's kind of depressing when we do the pan into the stands for me. I got to have a reset here. So much hair over there, right?
Yeah.
I think these headsets that we wear all the time, I think they pull them out.
Very follically blessed across from us. Right side. Oh, good sliding dig there from Nakane Luo, but it ends up just a foot out. Arquette gets another kill.
I think she's got a chance to hit at the next level too, right? I could see her being a 6-2 setter and hitter.
In a 7-5 game. And service there. These teams will meet yet again October the 3rd. But every game matters, regardless if it's Division I or Division II. Some of those Division II teams might give some of these Division I teams a run for their money. HBA, one of them. A fling out there for Goldstein. Puts that one down.
I don't know if anyone gets more out of their physicality. She kind of reminds me of Kayla Foa, right? Who had such a great career. Nevada. Ooh. Just a great jumper, amazing athleticism, and amazing control as well.
Ooh, just off of Kakal. I nearly got handcuffed here, did Hope. And a rare error. Goldstein so far, 3 kills, hitting .286 to go along with 2 digs. Kakal, steady pass. Piper.
You know, the other senior we forgot to talk about, you actually did earlier, Tessa Naga. Right? She was steady as a rock all year long. This year, they're on their 3rd libero. Right? Started off with Hiraki, moved on to Taniguchi, now they got Kakal. Such a key position.
Okanaga becoming the most outstanding player really in the tournament a year ago. Through the block, all power there from Chalk.
And this is that time where they started rolling. They started putting up points. This is a dangerous time here. They got Piper in the front row, but so is Nakanelua. If Iolani gets a good pass, that opens up their middle attack. Otherwise, two big blockers out here on Piper.
The call popped it up. It's a bump set to Hanohano. Off the net, it was not touched by the block that went up, so a double contact called on Lilo, the setter, here for the Warriors. It's roughly around the same time in the first set where Iolani made a run, tied it up at 11 at one point. Works it towards the line, Lilo outside. Arquette.
I mean, she makes it look so easy. That is the hardest set. That is the hardest swing. You got to let that ball go past your left shoulder, over to your right shoulder. You got to jump from off the net to on the net. There's a lot of moving pieces. Really nice set there from Lilo as well.
Arquette just has one hitting error here tonight. She's hitting .667.
Crazy.
Overpass. Good dive there from Kakal, but he's tapped down for the point. Kapihe.
Lilo back to serve. Carolita, longtime JV coach here at Kamehameha, had a great story. He said one year she played the entire season. He didn't know this. Played the entire season with a broken finger. Didn't tell him, didn't tell any of the training staff, because she knew as soon as she told someone she was going to get pulled off the court. They won the championship. She was swinging, she was setting.
Wow.
He found out the day after the championship match.
All right, when you played.
I wasn't that tough.
Okay.
No, come on.
You were with your Rubik's Cube at the time. Hit up there by Kakal, chased out by Nakanelua. This one goes off the high hands after the swing there from Piper. Chalk had to wait for it. Good dig there from Piper. Got a third swing out of it. That one dug up in the back row by Goldstein. Chalk through the block, diving after it. Hanohano try to reverse it there by Nakanelua. Ruled off the touch, no four contacts. Piper pounds it off the double block.
You know, I'm almost getting used to the offense, but the defense from Piper, that was pretty nimble as well, right? Someone who's in the key, per se, last season. All of a sudden, she's out at range.
She'll be a pillar for the Iolani girls basketball team as they look to defend their state championship as well. Coming up in the winter. Piper blasts that one off of Lum. Raiders pull within 2. Piper now with 9 kills. Of the 16 kills for the match that Iolani has, she's got 9 of them. And so, the Raiders 10 serving 12. Lum. Lilo, middle Kapihe. And Kamehameha is first to 13. As good as Arquette has been, Kapihe turning on as well. Kicks hitting .556 with 7 kills to give a 3-point advantage here for Kamehameha. We got your football fix coming up. We're in Eva Beach for the second home game for the Sabres on their brand new turf field. They take on Punahou. Currently just outside the top 50 in the country, according to the Max Preps rankings. It'll be the Buff and Blue and the Sabres coming up on OC16 Friday. 13-10.
12 and 6. 12 and 6.
As Kamehameha took set 1, 25-16. Kamehameha getting great production in this set. They're hitting .643 in the frame. And .479 for the match. Chalk puts it back in play. Dug up there by Kakal. Piper off the block and out. And now she enters double figures. She's got 10 kills.
I can't remember the last time we saw two offenses going crazy like this, right? What's happening? 479 and 302. 302 wins championships.
Yes.
479 is out of this world.
Kapie off the block. What a dive there from the Kanelua, sprawling out. In the middle, Arquette.
And here's the adjustment. If someone's hitting 479, that means there's too many good passes, there's too many good digs, there's too many good swings. Take a look at that rollout.
Kanelua.
Got to serve tougher. Iolani's got to go pedal to the metal. They have one ace in this set. Talked about it. They need 3, 4 more. They got work to do here. And I think that really is a coach who sets the tone and says, hey, I got your back. If you miss the serve, I'm okay. Depressure the situation.
It was the second set on Tuesday, the one that Iolani won to tie the matchup against the Buffalo Blue at 1 apiece. Ended up losing that one in 4. Quick attack in the middle, Chun. That one sniffed out. Right side, Piper. Off the block, chasing around. To call, good effort to try and stab at it. He goes behind the antenna and out. Here's Kapie. 7 kills here tonight, hitting .500. The dig's nearly even, +2 the advantage for the Warriors. Lilo. This one went off the chest of the recently checked in Hiraki. And there's Arquette, popped up there by Hano Hano. Kanelua to Piper. Hit the antenna, I believe. Yes, it did.
I think Hiraki's got to be in there somewhere, right? She's a senior. She's got the most experience. She's a starter on last year's championship team, right? There's only 2 of those that are returning. Got to find a place for her.
And parked in the back row right now as she enters the game for the first time. One-handed set slung on there by Barrett. Recycled right back to Iolani. Here is the aforementioned Hiraki, but it goes out.
Right, and because they have Hano stacked on the right side, all of a sudden they got 3 right-siders, right? So Hiraki playing out of position on the left side, which is really hard when you're a lefty.
And this is the point of the match, or the set, in the previous set, where Kamehameha made their run to create enough separation. Barrett, a back bump set to Hiraki, rips at it, and it goes out. Iolani still with 2 timeouts left. You know, Albright kind of surveys what he has and makes his adjustment. Kamehameha gets on serving runs. They can serve people out of the gym. 3 aces as a team so far. Piper up the high hands. Arquette will set it. Goldstein. Good diving dig there from Hiraki. Overpass nearly dumped down in front of Chun. Instead it goes to Goldstein off that block. Chun is there, tied at the tower. Lilo a bump. Goldstein.
She's really good. Such a steady passer, defender, and then the offense jumps out of the gym.
Wow. Don't be sleeping on Kamanaho Kalani Goldstein. Timeout, Iolani.
Since we're
The 13th all-time meeting between St. Louis and Mililani. St. Louis leads that series 10-2. Trojans won the season opener of 2022 last year. That's our Spectrum XCast game. Scott Robbs, RJ Hollis with you at 7:30 on Spectrum XCast and Spectrum News app. 1911. Kamehameha hitting .500 here in the frame. 446 for the match. Kapie back in play.
It's a good serve.
Right to Hiraki. Hano Hano. Yep. Got that one.
She's taking some good swings. Left side, right side.
Hano Hano, who also has her cousin Konoe Hano Hano, who's a basketball player for Iolani, also on the team. Sliding there was Chalk. Flying in Arquette off the hands. Picked up by Hano Hano. Now Kanelua jumps it. Piper a swing. Met there by Lilo, tied at the net. Arquette just went around the block of Hano Hano and tapped it down.
She's just so strong. Right? We saw the left-handed gem earlier. That was the right-handed gem. I think there were some blockers who touched the ball on the other side and they just melted.
And what could she play at Hawaii?
I'm telling you. every position.
Yeah, just put X under the position,
Yeah,
right?
utility, right?
Yeah.
Someone used to write that down.
Down the middle, it's Piper just swatted across. In the middle, Chun, yes.
Hey, on the other side, though, like, I'm serious about this. Nakane Lua, I almost think I got to move her to outside hitter. She might be the best setter on the team, but they need her to do other things, right? They've got two other really good setters. They got Hano off the bench. They got Higashihara, who's a really good setter as well.
Oh, there you go, Aaron Haraki. She gets up there. Put in the air and Aaron. Nicely done. Block a tad late, still found the seam. Kakal got it over. Chun through the block and down.
If they can get Chun going, hitting high percentages, being really active, they've got 5 attackers in every rotation.
And that level of prestige that has been built up for so many decades here on campus for Kamehameha girls volleyball team. So missing out on the state tournament for the first time in 20 years. I mean, the returnees on this squad feel like they have the pressure to get back there, because you never want to be part of the class that was part of breaking that streak.
Right.
But with a new season, a new streak can begin. They'll try and restart it this year. Hano. A vicious swing for kill.
She's been confident, right? Maybe she and Piper really looked confident out there. Nakane Lua as well. On the other side, Kamehameha just so steady. They've given up one ace all night long.
Iolani hitting 120 here in this frame. Those 6 hitting errors really hurting him right now. 8-point lead here for the home team. Arquette. Oh. This thing is coming in hot.
Even the University of Hawaii doesn't run a lot of Ds. Right? They'll run the pipes, they'll run the bigs to Alexander in the back row. D-ball's really tough.
Over 14 kills. I mean, at least 4 of them got to be off that D set. On a step out there for Lee. Lee and Nakane looked like they were heading outside.
We talked about the routes, right? You could see from the way that Nakane Lua was talking to Hiraki at the end, that was forwardly dangerous play, right? You got 2 people kind of in the same vicinity.
Iolani will take it any way they can at this point. Getting a deep run now. This might kick it off. That's an ace.
Aggressive serve. She stepped back a little bit further and really popped it. That's the answer. And even there's very small chance they're going to catch up here. They want to get that mojo going, right? They want to get some fear going on the other side.
Hiraki, right to chalk near the net. Joust off the top of the cable. Lee got it there. Nakane Lua, a Piper who tried to stash it, but it hit the cable. For contacts.
You know, this is the Iolani team. I'd say over the last 6 years, we've seen so much energy. We've seen so much passion. This might be the flattest in terms of emotion that I've ever seen them.
Yeah. It's been pretty tempered so far. With set point here in the second set. And this is out. And Kamehameha got a 2-0 lead in the match. Good effort there from Piper, just sailed wide. But the home team, with a fiery passion to succeed and get back to the big dance in November, proving why they're one of the best in the state right now. 25-16 and 25-16. Off we go to, well, we mentioned earlier Adrienne Arquette. She has 14 kills, hitting .619. Not to be outdone. How about Tia Kapie? That's complimentary hitter. 7 kills here so far through 2 sets.
Yeah, hitting 500, doing a great job blocking as well, right? Smart hits in the middle, showing a lot of adversity. She had a really tough year last year. Hardly got to play, had a lot of meetings with her father, Ellie, over the course of the year, and had an amazing club season and carrying that on to this season. And that's some crazy numbers, right? 536 to 071. this is a statement match so far.
Sure, yeah.
Right? This is the kind of thing that says, like, we were not happy with what happened last year. We're going to plant our flag that it's not going to happen again.
Not even happy with last year. Not even happy with last week when they played Huna, losing that one in 5. And that was a huge statement victory for Tino Huna and the rest of that staff in the great Lulu Uabe.
Right. And tonight, though, here's the tricky, dangerous part. This is 2/3 of a statement match so far.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got to put the period. Yeah. You got to put the exclamation point. You got to finish it up.
Right. Yeah, and you're exactly right, Kevin. None of this matters if you don't win the games you're supposed to win in a fashion that is equal to your standard. That's a good start here for Iolani to try and get back into it with the ace. Here from the Kanelua.
And the most aggressive serve for her of the night, right? Just grip it and rip it.
Iolani for the match, hitting 190. Kanelua, that one softly put up there by Chalk. Then to Lilo, back to Chalk, two-handed push, met there by Hiraki, chased by Nakanelua. Piper around the block. That one dug up in the back row, chased by Lilo. And there's Goldstein, right back to the front row. Piper. Why not? Just took something off it, dropped it over the block.
Smart play. If you got the big block in front of you, you got to paint the corners, you got to go high hands, and every once in a while throw the change up. Her dad would know something about that, right?
Yeah. Great Billy Piper, who's always in the house to support.
So you've seen her play basketball a lot. You've seen her play volleyball a lot. What would you say? I mean, it's so hard to do, but like, which is stronger for her?
I think it's volleyball this year, but next year I think basketball and volleyball will sort of equal themselves out. Because remember, Callie is kind of a complimentary player to Mele Sake, who's a player of the year. But Callie Piper got the most unique free throw shooting stance. She kind of wiggles her hips.
Really?
Before every free throw.
I didn't get to see them. Now that I've seeded like I've gotten it taken away from me to go to Dean, right?
No, come on.
I'm kidding. He's so much more qualified for that. I've seen a few games. See, that was my problem. I was calling them matches, and they're basketball games, Felipe.
Well, I don't think they're called contests either. I'm not a big fan of the word contest.
Scrums?
Yeah. Duels. Here's Chalk. Nakanelu outside. Piper pulled that one down. Right off the palms of Chalk.
Here's another flip of the Rubik's Cube. Right now they've got Piper coming in the back row. They got Hano. They got Pereira playing her back row. And Hano still staying at the outside. No, they go Hano outside, and they move Hiraki to where she belongs, maybe more on the right side. I like this one. This is the one I like.
Well, they feed it to her after the swing from Kapihe, who gets that point.
And here's another crazy one. They kept Georgianne Lee in there instead of the libero. They're going libero less. This is some crazy Rubik's Cubes going on right now, Felipe.
With 4-2 here at this point. Rotation error.
And this is the danger, right? When you got new people and new seats at new positions on the court, all of a sudden.
Might have more colors in the side of the cubes.
I mean, this is almost begging for a replay at some point in time.
Yeah.
Too bad we don't have like the big screen where we could
which is
show it to everyone.
The blank wall to our left side, so further left of this shot right now, that'll be the new Daktronics screen that they'll have.
Yeah?
Expected by the time we come back here, by the way, later in the season. Hiraki from that right side, the lefty swing dug up by Chalk. Lilo outside, Goldstein. Money, cash for Goldstein.
I'm telling you, this Iolani lineup is probably the most dangerous one. This is where Kamehameha even more so got to keep their pedal to the metal.
Because of the offense or the unpredictability?
No, because the people like Hiraki belongs on the right side, right? She's not a left sider. Got Hanohano on the left, and she's been taking good swings out there on the left.
It's a decent one, but met the block. Here's Hanohano tight at the net. Went around it this time, but pushed it out. Point there here for the Warriors. A little mini 3-0 run to jump out in front again. Wanted a touch. Didn't get it.
You gotta sell it a little bit.
Like Iolani had some pretty good lobbying on Tuesday, won some points. This goes out.
And I think it's also leadership. Take a look at how Hanohano's like pacing the court. Hiraki brings some aggressiveness as well.
5-5.
Pereira bringing it. Right? You got 3 seniors out there. All of a sudden you got, when you add in Piper, that's 4 vocal seniors.
Iolani hasn't effectively worked their middle here tonight. Usually with Barrett. She puts this back in play. Chun taps it home. A new player will come in here for Iolani, Danny Sasuga. Did not see her Tuesday. Defensive specialist here for the Raiders.
And essentially is the 4th libero we've seen, right? If you count Georgianne Lee, then she's the 5th. But I don't think you do.
Knocks us down. Hanohano.
I mean, well, you love the team play, right? The Punahou match 2 days ago, she was playing middle blocker, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is someone who's setter in her identity, setter by trade, and yet she's filling spots on the court that the team needs.
6-6. Lilo outside. Goldstein.
I couldn't do that, right? Like, so if our producer, Dave Vinton, said, hey, we need you to go be a camera person today, I would tap out with fear. I would have no idea what I'm doing. I would give up. You could be like Hanohano. You could fill, how many different roles could you fill out here, Felipe?
7-6. Set 3. I learned how to switch earlier today. Here's Hanohano trying to flip the switch and get back on top. Tied at 7 here. I don't know. I think you're really underselling yourselves, by the way.
Come on. I could never be a camera person.
It's funny. Our buddy Dean Shinomoto just texted us, a group chat. He said, I'm watching you pros taking notes right now. So, hello, Dean. Dean, learn some soccer so you can join some soccer as well. This one dropped down in front of Sasuga. We'll do a 3-man with Brent. So it goes down. 8-7. And much similar to how the first 2 sets went. Tight to the first. 20 combined points around that 11-point mark. Here's Ashley Lum. Overpass. Ooh, just past Lum.
A little miscommunication here after a really tough serve. Take a look at that dart. Lands right in the middle. Those seam balls. That's why you serve the seam, right? Because it's a location, you make people move, and then you also make people talk.
Aaron Hiraki wipes up the sweat on the floor. Look at a brief breather here at an 8-8 set 3 score. Kamehameha hitting 571 in the frame. Iolani hitting 444, so the numbers are high. And because of that, it's 8-8.
That's a great point. First time someone's wiping the floor, that tells me, that's like irrefutable proof that wiping the floor is all about stalling and close matches, right?
Yeah.
We haven't had a close match here tonight, so only one wipe.
Chalk. Good pickup by Lee, but it hit one of the blades of the ceiling fans and ricocheted real quick back down.
And the blades are still shaking, right?
Yeah.
That's how hard that ball was hit.
What, 6 ceiling fans here inside Kekuhaupio Gymnasium.
They need a 7th one right above us. That's what they really need. It's hot in here.
Reversed by Nakane Lua. Got that one down. 9-9. Another floor wipe this time from Kamehameha. How about Nakane Lua? It's the second time she's done it here tonight.
Yeah, a lot with her right hand, too. Typically, you see the left hand coming out.
I really think you could work camera. I think you could work handheld camera. I'm online.
You have to focus, right? Like there's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a camera term.
Yeah, I can't. That's really hard, I think.
This is out, no touch here.
I mean, you look at our camera people, especially the ones on the court. They're like pushing around on the wheels,
That's
and they're
Jared.
they're focusing in and out and playing dodgeball. There's a lot of moving pieces.
Well, you could work it with if we're in the booth. Yeah. Booth shot we can do.
Plus, all of our camera people in general are pretty buff. I don't know if you've seen me
Yes.
lately, but I think those things are heavy.
Yeah. Here's Piper. Into the block. Kamehameha and Arquette. You know, directors are buff too. And here's Piper to buff this one. Right off the block. 10-10. And Iolani got to string together some points here. Looking for the reverse sweep by the end of tonight, but I take care of this third set. The Rockies pass back to the middle, right to Nakanelua. Piper, yes. 13 now here for Piper.
I'm telling you, this is a dangerous set, right? And if Iolani can win this set, well, then all of a sudden they got some momentum. They've got the right lineup in place.
Piper took nearly 50 swings on Tuesday night, about a third of what Iolani had for the match in a fourth setter. She has 33 of the 70 swings right now. Adds on another kill. This pass there goes to Lilo. Flying in there was Goldstein. This one went off of Hiraki, and then a diving attempt from the Raiders. Just couldn't find that third contact.
You know, in some ways, because the first and second set were such blowouts, it's kind of allowed Aubrey to be a little more aggressive with his subs, right? Do you think there's any world where he told himself, you know what, I think Georgianne Lee might be our libero this year? Or tonight?
Yeah. This one just kind of jabbed over there by Barrett. This one goes long. Remember, it was at this point where Kamehameha took a lead to the 13 timeout. Not there yet. And then further past that. This is a big checkpoint here for Kamehameha and Iolani to see where they're at right now. Kamehameha.
Such a good serve. She's just been serving BBs all night long.
And another ace. That's the fifth one of the night as a team. And everything coming together here for the Warriors of Kamehameha. 13-11 and they lead the match. Got a pretty darn good matchup on Saturday for you in OC16. The Braves of St. John Bosco from Bellflower, California, number 3 team in the country, takes on the number 1 team in Hawaii. It's the Braves and Big Red, and it comes your way from football country on the North Shore. Well, he's got the colors. Maybe you can support Kuku as well. Comes your way Saturday on OC16. Raider Nation in the house showing great support. Warrior fans also in attendance. We're here next Friday for football with the longest rivalry in the nation, Kamehameha and Punahou. Next Friday on OC16. Goldstein, good dig there from Lee. It went off the divider, and it's down. A good effort from Hiraki. Just tried to stick the hand out, but ran out of real estate.
One more good serve from Kamehameha. I'll tell you, 2 players. Kamehameha, Haumea Marumoto worked a lot last year with Nikki Taylor. Their games just both got so much better. More consistency, better decision making.
Block there from Arquette. And Nikki Taylor now back on the continent, right? Montana for school.
Yeah, she's getting her psychology degree there.
That's awesome.
Stop on your side. No sit.
15-11.
Producer just said not for us,
Yeah.
right? We lost a really good coach and a really good broadcaster.
Iolani takes the timeout. When we come back from break, Dean Shimamoto and Nikki Taylor on the call.
Of the duel.
Since Chris at Escape the Vape Hawaii.
All the fans in the house, all loving it. There you go. Derek Cavasso, offensive lineman here for Kamehameha. Did not see the cabbage patch, though. 15-11. Here comes a swing from Hano Hano. Outside, it's a swing there for Goldstein. This one goes off of Georgie Lee. Hano gets a swing after it. Over the block. What a diving dig there from Lilo. Oh, put down there by Goldstein. Emma Lilo, number 9, with a great defensive play to keep the rally going.
And you called it once again, Felipe, right? It just neck and neck, and then all of a sudden this big push from the team in white.
It's momentum coming out of it. Iolani called timeout as well. Pereira, Nakanelua, Hiraki. What's that down?
And for the Raiders, number 7, Danny Sasuga.
So Sasuga back in here for the Raiders.
And can we talk about Georgianne Lee and how chill, ice cold, relaxed she looked in the back row there? Right? Like, she didn't expect to do that today, and yet she's passing, she's playing defense.
She's only freshman for Iolani's squad, by the way, as well. That goes into net.
And even though this is Iolani's second televised match, she was actually sick in the first one, didn't play on Tuesday.
Right. 17-12. In a 2-0 match. This one goes in. 18-12. Here's Adriana Arquette now. Mono abound. Here's his senior. And the third-year varsity woman gets it across. Hano over right to Chalk. Goldstein, great dig there from Pereira. Hiraki. She's home.
Right? There's just a different pep in her step. There's a relaxation. Here's the problem, right? Every time, it doesn't matter how good you are, every time you go into a new situation, you're a little nervous. There's a little learning curve, right? So, good to be home.
That right side pounded it down. It's 18-13. Lilo. Wow. Arquette goes out. And now the officials will call it in. The upper official called it in.
That ball was so far in. I think sometimes as an official, you're just trying to like self-preservation a little bit.
And in the line judge's defense, too, there are a lot of lines on this court. That ball came real close to that corner. One here for the Warriors.
And it's coming fast. Right? Yeah, there's a lot of defenses right towards her.
There's Goldstein.
Watson in the game for the first time here tonight as well.
The returnees. Last couple of years, this one goes into the net.
You know, and this Watson is a player that no other school has as well, right? She's got a lot of experience starting. Kind of reminds me of like a Lauren Condon who could be a game changer at some point in time. You get the feeling at some point in time this year she's going to turn her match around.
Hano gets it across. Overpass. There goes Piper. 14 kills for her.
Right, and if you're Chris Blake right now, you're just hoping that this change doesn't mess with all the moto that's been going, right?
Hano. Close one. There's Watson. The pass went out of face.
And Blake looks down the bench now. How much more leash?
Hano. Watson, better pass. Lilo. Arquette off the cable. Diving there, Sasuga. Nakanelua. There goes Piper. Sliding there was Arquette. Fading back Watson. Cross court right to Hano. Nakanelua. There's Hiraki from the back row. Whether it's the front side or the back side or right side, she's living large. Timeout, Kamehameha.
So hard to be a coach. Right, it's so hard to be a coach. You know, I talk to parents all the time, and they say like, hey, why couldn't the coach get my daughter in? And we were 1911. Well, look at this. This is happening at the highest level with a player who's super experienced and super talented. And it's chemistry, right? You just mix it up a little bit.
Rocky, stellar performance here so far in this third set. Moving forward here for the Raiders. They will have Mid-Pacific coming up, and then they'll go to Merrill Clarence TC Ching Gymnasium. Merrill, pretty good team, by the way, this year. University Laboratory in that mix. Watch out for Hawaii Baptist. Could be a trap game. How good that squad is. Kamehameha Kapalama on the 3rd of October. And don't forget that second Punahou matchup as well. So some spots there for Iolani to kind of redeem themselves. Remember, the best record in the ILH Division 1 wins the regular season, gets the first of 2 berths representing the league. For the Warriors, they get the next 3 on the road. But circle October 3rd and 5th, Iolani and Punahou. Those matchups will be big. We'll have that Punahou matchup for you on Spectrum OC16. That, in theory, if all things should hold true, if things are status quo, that could be for the ILH Division 1 championship.
How sick would that be, right?
Yeah.
I like this year's, what'd you call it? The integrated schedule?
Yeah.
Is that the official terminology, or is that just the Felipe terminology?
Yes, it is the Felipe terminology. No, it's the, in theory, it's called the schedule. That's what it's called. Officially, it's called the schedule. We've been calling it the integrated schedule.
The integrated.
Hano help leading Iolani on this 4-0 run. 8 kills here so far.
And Blake letting it ride.
Watson still in. Pass goes right to Watson. Arquette. Low shot Sasuga. Chance here. Big one. Piper. Got it. Raider Nation rises. They're within 1.
And the problem, this is a tough rotation here for Kamehameha, right? You got Chun. You got back row Arquette. Watson's going to have to carry some offensive load, too.
Longest serving streak so far for Iolani tonight. Lilo, backside, Chun, whipped at it. Dug up there by Hano. Hano by the 3-meter line. Front row there for Lilo. Off a bump set. A back row attack there from Goldstein. Right there to Nakailua. Sasuga, a Piper! For the tie!
Woo. And if you're Iolani, there's a little hope, right? There's some blood in the water. You got some excitement going on attack. For Kamehameha, I love just like the floor, took a little time off. Blake showing a lot of trust here. 6-0 run here, I think.
16 points, or kills rather, here for Piper. 19-19. What a scramble. Watson just had to keep it alive. Piper off the block. Diving there was Lom. Joust at the net. Lee almost won it. Another joust, but Iolani will score on a double contact.
I think it hit the block, right? And if it hits the block, it resets the touches. That's what Chris Blake is saying. Now, if it didn't hit the block, that's too late in the play, right? It was an earlier play. If it didn't hit the block, if she pushes it into the tape and then hits it again, that's a double.
Let's see, maybe we can spin it a little further back right here. So just at the net.
So then what it is actually she blocked the ball, and if you block the ball, that doesn't count as a contact, so you can go make the next play.
So Chun and Lee went to go up and get it. They won't win the appeal. And Iolani, first to 20 here in this third set. Hano. Watson. Lilo. Watson. Got it. How about Kalei Watson? Fresh off the bench. In for a few points. Gets one down.
And I'll tell you, who else? How about Chris Blake, right? He's showing so much trust, so much faith.
Lum. Piper. It is out. 21-20. Each team a timeout left.
What a crazy set.
You talked about killer instinct. Does Kamehameha have it here in this third set to bring out the broom and sweep it? Lum puts it over. Hiraki, Nakanelua, Piper. Big collision in the middle. Everyone full on blitzing to save the ball. And Piper able to get that one down.
Still some work to do.
Another court wipe here for Kamehameha. Piper with 17 kills. She's taken 40 swings.
And they got one more rotation here with Arquette in the back row.
Watson with Goldstein and Kapihei looking at this one, running at the net. And it's shut down. Barrett.
And now in the blink of an eye, how quiet has Kamehameha gotten, right? You got Iolani up in their emotion, up in their energy.
And now how would you like to be the freshman Georgie Lee? Swatted across to Watson. Lilo flings it out. Arquette got that one square at 22.
That is a big time swing. Tough situation. Everyone knows that ball is going to her. Not a lot of visibility. She's taking a look up at the ball. Just a really smart swing.
Rotates to the front now here for Arquette, who's got 16, a team high. Hitting .519 this evening to go along with those 5 digs. Lilo got it up and got in ace. Will they use it here? Kanoa Aubrey walks over to the down official, Ran Sakaga, and says, we'll take one here. Time. Iolani takes time, and Kamehameha is up 1 here in set 3. What a character building set we're seeing here for each of these programs, huh?
I'm trying to think of this, right? It's like everything was so smooth, and then all of a sudden, on the way, got a little panic, got a little bit nervous. Momentum, such a big thing in all sports, but specifically in volleyball. It's a big deal.
Rainbow Wahine will take on CSU Bakersfield on Spectrum OC16 coming up. Essentially a 2-week break since we will see the Rainbow Wahine. We'll see them next week. All this great support. You're seeing more fans come out to these girls' volleyball matches. It's made the sport better, it's elevated it. And OA Championship night is one of my favorite nights of the year for girls volleyball. It is just a huge party, and it's just a pre-party, if you will, for the big dance, which has really been an all ILH final, with the exception of last year, obviously, with Kamehameha Hawaii and that magical run, and Mela Hanma and that great team. Knocking off Kahuku at the time and in all the way to the final. Lost to Iolani.
And it's not just in Hawaii. How about nationally? Do you see that match they had at Memorial Stadium?
Yeah.
92,000. They broke the all-time all-female attendance record.
That's
any
great.
sport, any place in the world.
Great.
Crazy. Wisconsin just broke tonight. Tonight just broke 17,000 and changed the indoor attendance record for regular season.
It's growing.
Sports on fire.
23-22. Here's Emma Lilo. Overpass. Free chance. Middle. Got it. Arquette. 17 for her. It's Aloha ball. Kamehameha. Emma Lilo. Callie Piper. Into the net. Warriors. Sweep Iolani. $16 and 22. The final. Kamehameha. They're suffering their first loss of the season 6 nights ago to the Buff and Blue, who's 1 step closer to Puno. They get to 3-1 by sweeping Iolani here tonight. For the Warrior fans and their players in the singing of their alma mater. It took 93 minutes for the Warriors to knock off Iolani here tonight. 16-16 and 22 the final. They get to 3-1 on the season. They're losing the 5 sets here to Puno. They get one back in the win column. They win round 1 of a 2-match regular season here against their rivals, the Raiders. Courtside here, Felipe Oscar along with Ted Long. Jimmy will be back player in just a second. What a performance that we saw here from Kamehameha. Need that killer instinct. We saw it in sets 1 and 2. Iolani, to their credit, put the Warriors to the test in set 3, but ultimately it was the most successful program in Hawaii Prep volleyball history to win it.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about a 3 in a row match win streak for Iolani. What a win in 3 here today, right, to kind of end that streak quickly.
Yeah, it was the first win here for the Warriors over the Raiders since that 2021 final, where they won that one fairly cleanly. I'll tell you what, when this senior class develops over the course of this season, this team is going to be very, very dangerous, and nobody more dangerous here for the Warriors than the Hawaii Honda Leaders Impact player. Here for Kamehameha, side with Jimmy Bender.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Adriana Arquette is here with me, and Adriana, first off, sets 1 and 2, pretty easy. But set 3, you guys had to dig deep for that one. What was the key? How did you do that?
Well, we got a strong start in the first 2 sets, and in the 3rd set, Iolani's a good team, and they came firing back. I think that we just had to keep pushing until endgame, and we executed well.
How much motivation does missing out on the state tournament give you guys this year?
Oh, lots of motivation for sure. The returnees were very hungry for this season. So is everyone on this team, and I think we're really pushing this season.
I think it was 17 kills for you tonight. You're number 17. Have you considered changing your number to maybe like 30?
You know, that's a good idea.
If it works for her, if she gets as many kills as a number, that's what we're doing. 30 next time, guys. Adriana Arquette, back to you.
Oh, bless your heart, Adriana Arquette. 17 looks pretty nice on you here this evening, and she delivered in every single way. She just had 2 hitting errors here tonight, Kev.
Yeah, 30. Let's bump it up to 5-0, right? She's been doing it from all over the court, back row, front row. Last year, she had prolific kills, and she only had 3 rotations. All of a sudden, she gets 6 rotations. She gets to go all over the court. Going to be a fun season to watch for number 17 in the white.
Her development as a hitter, you're right, in the back row makes her so dangerous and more versatile here for the Arquette family. There you see Iva Arquette right there in the middle. He won a state championship on the basketball side. Great baseball athlete as well when he played over at St. Louis. And that whole Arquette family, just gold level and just an awesome level of class and a skill level there for that Arquette family. Let's get to the Iolani Impact player brought to you by Hawaii Honda Dealers. So the Raiders come up short. But again, Callie Piper, who this week so far has got 37 kills, 20 against Puno, 17 here tonight against Kamehameha.
And the 195 hitting percentage might be a little bit under par for her, but when you put it in perspective that the entire defense, the block, 4 diggers on the other side, all focus on how we stop number 12, that's a tough assignment.
As a team, Iolani hit 267 and 3 for the match. Kamehameha hit more than 430 here tonight. Limited the hitting errors, and thus they pick up their 3rd win of the season. Through all of this, we still have the Taco Bell play of the game. Through all the crazy rounds, we saw a lot of activity at the net. And near this overpass, the dump down there from Arquette. Just a conventional play here. He makes it look so easy here for Arquette. She was fine all over the place.
So much hang time. It's almost like she's still going up as the ball's going down, right? Like, I never had that problem.
And the ascension here for Arquette, the projection pretty high, and the standards very high here for Kamehameha as they try and get back to the state tournament by the end of the regular season. We got the post-game show coming up next in just a little bit. Back in a couple minutes, wrap things up and get you ready for your football weekend as well. 25, 16, 16, and 22. Warriors win this one.